Hey Hero fans! So today we are going to review the new Merman 2.0 from He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the Filmation style. So there he is right there. Pretty cool. Now Merman is one of my favorite characters for a long time. When my kids were little, they had a Merman action figure and we used to call him Fred. And he was actually a good guy. I never let my kids know the actual stories back then. It was more about letting them use their own imagination. So it's kind of fun. My son, my oldest boy, he would use his Merman and have him ride the oh, hold on a second, the battle ram, and the battle ram was Merman's vehicle. And like I said, my kids never knew his name was Merman. They thought his name was, well, they made it up, was Fred. But anyway, here's Fred. Merman, and looks pretty cool. Very Filmation-y, which is what I expected, because obviously it's a Filmation action figure. Let's go ahead and pull him out of there. Always pull off the midsection first. A lot of times I can damage the figure pretty easily. Look for rubber bands. And of course, if they have a cape, you want to cut an opening for the cape. He has no cape, so let's just pop him out of here. All right, there he is. Let's go ahead and talk about articulation. So first we got the foot articulation. Very cool. Boot cut. He's got a knee bend, single joint. And of course the leg moves up above. We got the waist turn. We have, supposed to have, there we go. Not a lot of movement because the armor kind of blocks it a little bit. Shoulder, bicep, elbow, and hand with extra articulation on the hand. And then of course the head. Not a lot of movement, but looks like it's restricted by something. All right, and of course he has the cool claw feet, which I was so hoping for. So there is our Merman. And he comes with accessories. One thing that's kind of cool, one of the accessories is this throwback to the corn on the cob sword, which looks like the original figure from the 80s. And it has the hand strap on there too. Kind of a fun thing. And then we have this spear with the pearl in it, which was used in one of the episodes. So that's kind of cool too. It's one of the Filmation artifacts. So there he is. Let's go ahead and compare him to some other Merman figures of the past. So let's start with the most recent and work our way back. So we had the Merman from the 2-pack. He's blue. And this was the DC versus Masters of the Universe 2-pack. And this figure came with it's supposed to be a more comic version because they colored him blue in the comic. And I really like his two-tone sword. That was one of my favorite features of him. And when you got him, you also got a DC character, and it was Aquaman. And here's the Aquaman he came with. A little shorter than the Masters, but really cool. He also came with a trident that I actually gave to Mermista because she needed a trident, so she got his trident. Before that, we had the original Classics release in green, and he came with multiple heads. I like this head better, so I don't have one at the other head, and he came with a sword, and he came with a trident. So that was pretty cool. Now, the trident was actually a throwback to the 2000X release, which is right here. There's our 2000X one. Nice dark green. These figures were so cool the way they designed them. And of course, they have action features, so they can stab or push his trident in the other characters. Kind of cool. And I really liked what the Four Horsemen did. It was a huge advancement for the styling of the figures. 2000X, one of my favorite eras. The figures were maybe not done as well as they could have been, but as far as the style, was really cool. Now, before that, we had our 80s version. There he is, Merman from the 80s. And he came with that corn on the cob sword. Now this is actually the remake. You can tell by the rim around the edge here, but it's so close to what the original ones were. And then I add a rubber band so I can stick the weapons in there to hold it. Now, because of 2000X of the Trident, I stole one of the weapons from the castle from 2000X and decided to give it to him to use as a trident. So my vintage one can have a trident too. Now, one of the things that was released during the classics was also an armor variant you could buy in one of the weapons packs. This armor variant was 2000X coloring that you could put on Mer-Man. And I decided to use it to make a custom. You guys all know Slush Head. And of course, for those that don't know about Slush Head, when you fill his water up, you want to have his eyes still above the water line so he can still see out clearly. That's kind of the way you want to do it. Then you can slush the water around. Kind of fun. But you think about it, Slush Head needs this helmet because he's in our atmosphere. But really, he could probably have no problem underwater. So I wanted to make an underwater version of Slush Head. And this is my underwater version, which worked out great because I could use that Mer-Man armor from the weapons pack and make a Slush Head that could be underwater without his helmet and all his extra gear. So this was my Slush Head variant using the Mer-Man parts. And of course I gave him the cool sword to match. So that's how I ended up using my 2000X style armoring. Alright, so there you have it. Please post comments. Let me know which Mer-Man's your favorite, whether the blue comic was your favorite or the original classic is your favorite, or you just really love the one from the 80s. Which head style you like. Was 2000X your favorite one, or is the Filmation now your main figure that is your go-to Mer-Man? Let me know in the comments, and then I might post up a following video to let people know the results. All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next episode, and I have some more figures to open from this line that I recently got. So I'll be opening up Sorceress, and I'll be opening up a bunch of the new classics too. So stay tuned. I got still more figures to open. Thanks for watching. Bye now.